that we lost like 7 people. But, yeah. Oh, well. Anyway. Alright, let's start from scratch, okay? Because I gotta put it on YouTube. And I'm not gonna load up Roblox. I gotta wait. I'm gonna do this, and then I'll get back to playing. Because I was, like, going back and forth, and it's too many pauses, alright? Alright, now. Let's talk tier list. Alright. I put Armin at the bottom of the list because he cost basically 16k gems if you're going for pity in this game. That is a huge investment to just do 11k every 45 seconds. 11k sounds like a lot, but 45 seconds is a humongous wait by late game. Alright? The next is Sakura. It might be weird to see a rare on the list, but she's a buff utility unit. She doesn't do DP. She doesn't throw kunai or nothing. She helps the team. If you have an open slot at 60 and you don't have the gems for another legendary or mythic or whatever, or maybe that legendary that you have isn't cutting it, she's your girl. Itachi, I didn't say this before, but Itachi's on the list. Itachi's on the list because he's a good early game unit that can handle a lot of situations, but I'll say this. Itachi fills the role for every legendary you do not see here. I'll say that right now. Itachi is the fill. He's the guy that says, if you got a legendary that I didn't talk about here today, here's him in the slot showing you what that legendary does for you. Okay? Like, he doesn't do anything. Alright? If the damage is okay, it'll get you by early game. But, really, getting by early game, you can use any unit. Alright? The next unit I was talking about was this dude, Dabu. He just got a good ability. Like, he's only here because of the ability. He's only slightly better Itachi. Itachi damage is better. Most of the legendaries are better. JoJo probably even outscales him as well. But we're going to ignore that and just move on. I try to avoid these units and any units I don't cover here today. They're kind of bad, except for maybe Sakura, but giving up a slot to do a slight boost sometimes can cost you games in where we're at right now in the meta, which is the ghouls. Alright. Next is Goku Black. He's like in the same spot. You could put these guys are like interchangeable almost. Not much damage, but it gets you by. He's at least worthy of talking about, because these units, if you happen to get them, it's kind of like, okay, I'm set for a minute. Alright? But once you get to Marineford especially, things start to get out of hand. Now, I wanted to put JoJo, but I'll just have Giovanni cover it. I believe this guy has a time stop, if I'm not mistaken. Chat can correct me if I'm wrong. But Caleb's been using him, and he's been breezing through early game with him. Like, he's around 700 damage right now, which early on is amazing. Yeah. It's just kind of been working for him. And if you're starting out and you happen to get this, it's wonderful. However, I would say JoJo would be here, the epic. And he's a wonderful early game unit. Yeah, 3 attacks, 700 every 3 seconds, which is incredible. He would be the one that you would want if you don't get the rest of them, but don't invest into any of these. Sakura, if you happen to get her, that's what she does. Alright, next. We're going to move up to C tier. I have heard good things about this character, but overall he's meh. I believe he also has a time stop, but I don't think, again, like Armin, he's worth the investment for a time stop when there's 2 characters that kind of do it better for like a lot less. So, if you see this guy in shop, I wouldn't get him. I wouldn't get him, and I wouldn't get Armin. I definitely wouldn't get Armin. but I would avoid this guy if you can. There are plenty of other units that you can wait for to do what he does better. And we're going to move to them soon. I actually forgot about her. She is like above Itachi. I don't have too much to say other than her, other than the fact that her attack speed's good and she has a good AoE and good range. But putting her, like, I could shove it and put her here, but she's not C tier. She's bad. Don't go out of your way to get this character. Let's talk about more of the interesting characters. So, let's move on. Next is Goku. He costs less than this guy. Thanks for the follow. He costs less than this guy, and for infinites, his damage is pretty good if you get him on a corner. You shouldn't go out of your way for him. If you happen to get him, I think he's better than all the other ones because he can be great damage. Very, very great damage for your infinites. Hola. He's great damage for infinites. Let me move my head. So if you happen to get him, you're in luck. He does a lot of damage. But it's more of a late game thing and infinite. Alright, next. I gotta put the new Secret Clown unit. I think he's better than Goku. He's got an attack speed of like 5. And he does like pretty good damage. My biggest issue and why he's kind of lower is like the same thing at Armin. To get this guy, you gotta find all the secret unit clowns in Tokyo Ghoul. And to do that, you probably have evolved units. And if you have evolved units, putting this guy in your team is like trash. Like, unless you happen to have an open slot and you manage to pull off the clowns by like getting to wave 10 and just hitting your head against the wall a bunch of times, sure. But if you have a decent way of farming this unit, you probably you have a better team than him. But I can't deny his damage is pretty good for essentially a free unit. Who's next? I kind of want to talk about him, but let's move on to the next thing. Because I'm going to get to some spicy takes, and I just gotta... Alright, next, I'm going to put Aaron. Aaron's up here. Fuck everybody. We're doing the hot takes. Alright. The reason why I don't have Aaron under anybody here is because Aaron, you need 4 of them for the raid unit. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like the raid unit is crack, because I've heard different opinions on it. But Aaron as a unit is valuable, regardless of if you want to use him or not. Because using him in a regular game, he's actually trash. But as a unit overall, if you're aiming for a mythic, and you're going for that pity, and you get like 4 of these, that turns into raiding, and raiding gets you an even better unit overall for infinites. So it's actually more of like a domino effect, where you're rewarded for smartly using your gems with this character to make your infinites look a little bit better without having to invest too much. But I cannot deny, there are units that you don't have to invest as much time to immediately see results. Which I think is a good segue to this. Levi is going to be the first mythic I kind of talk about that has, like, I guess an evolution. He has an evolution, and I've heard his damage is actually not bad. Now, I'm not going to do an eye here about every little unit that I've seen, but I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. He's a tank killer. So he's like He's like Rengoku. Where is he? There's Levi. Here's his scaling. Is this the evolved? This is the regular, I think. This is regular. I need evolved. Where is he? There he is. Evolved, we got about 7,000 every 4 seconds. So it's not bad. I believe it's single target. And then I have somebody saying, or Ash over there, telling me that he can crit too. So I don't know what crit numbers are, but I'm pretty sure if everything results into anything, if you happen to get him, let's say you're going for another legendary that I'll bring up later, and you're lucky enough to get something like this, don't go for it. If you already have him and you farm the star fruits, you have a decent unit. He does have a small AoE, so it's not single target. Okay, next. I'm not doing too many spicy takes here because I kind of want to put a couple in trash here. But we won't meme. Especially with the clouds in the background. I think next is Aaron. Okay, I haven't heard too much about him other than the cooldowns. We'll get the numbers on the screen right now. It's a 5-minute wait for 421 damage. And then, like, the upgrades are insane, dude. This is only for 60. I will add, they haven't updated the 70 scaling. But he starts only at 42k. And since he costs 100k to put down, and then it's another 150k. 8 minutes. 8 minutes is the real timer. Thank you, sons. This is a little ridiculous. But the bonus that he has is, like I said before, if you happen to get the errands and you're doing the raids for the gems, you make this guy essentially for free. Like, no real gem cost. I wouldn't go out of your way for him, but, you know, if you're doing infinites anyway and stacking your money up with some of the farm units that come up, then, yeah, I actually think this is a great character in the middle of the pack. 1 million is what he's saying. The next unit I'm gonna bring up. Do I want to bring him up yet? I think I do. This was the Aaron, but he's gonna stay down there. Do I bring him up yet? Yeah, I think it's finally time. Oh man, this is when people are gonna start getting weird. So get ready to see a whole bunch of chat bubbles here. I'm gonna go with Future Gohan. This is when the mythics start coming in. If I'm understanding correctly, this unit doesn't have an evolution, and his damage only goes up to 14. It's a very cheap unit, but I never see him in shop. I don't even know how you're supposed to get him. Whether he's like I just never see this unit. I never see him. Seen people with him, and placing him down seems kind of cheap, but these numbers are bad. These numbers are like pretty. These are pretty bad. You're saying that's a leaderboard unit? So he was basically designed bad on purpose, right? So that people don't have an edge in leaderboard. It's kind of like the limited thing. It's not bad. The attack speed 6 seconds. But only getting up to 1,400 is pretty rough. Yeah. If you did, I guess nobody can get him anyway, so it's not even worth talking about further. But from what I'm seeing with stats, it's not terrific. So I guess if you see somebody with this unit, don't think. I mean, you're playing with somebody that's going to carry you, but don't think that this unit's cracked. I guess. Uh, next we're gonna go with. Where is he? Where is he? I'm sorry. Alright, let me have it. Let me have it, and I'll say why. Go ahead. Let me have it. It's not too late to add him. Who is it? Who's the unit, Ash? But let me have it about him. Lulu's right here. Lulu right here. That's Lulu, right? Yeah, I know. He is under pain. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. The reason why I have All Might kind of low is because he's a mythic again. That's actually a negative for me. Anytime I see a unit you have to give like your whole bank account to, they better be worth it. And even upgraded, the small knockback that he does and the damage he does, I was never impressed by this unit. Yeah, he's basically expensive pain. So when people like brag about having him or they have a shiny one or whatever, I'm like, that unit kind of fucking sucks. He, I'd say he's better than at least like he at least has a crowd control, which is a slight knockback. But other than that, yeah, see him in shop. That's an L shop. We're gonna move on. The next unit I'm gonna have here because I want to fill up B. Because S is only gonna be for the best of the best, so I'm either gonna have to add another row or move people down. You know, I'm gonna move people down. I'm gonna do this. And I'll even add a garbage tier. Here, hold on, guys. Oh, what? Why isn't it putting it? No, not hide. How do I add another row? What? Oh, I don't want to do this shit where, maybe it's from the thing. There's definitely a way to add another row real quick. I don't know where it is, though. I guess we'll leave it like this. Hold on. Maybe here. Oh, here we go. Add a row. There we go. Here we go. Color. This is the poop tier. Where's the poop? Throw it away. Oh, I didn't mean to add it away. Delete. This one. I'll keep soccer here. Yeah, you don't want to throw soccer away. We'll do these. And then down here. And right here. There we go. Perfect. No. We right here. I'll have it like this. Alright. And after All Might, let's move on to some bigger noses. We might have to move them down later, but we'll leave it. This will be middle of the pack stuff. Because I think a lot of these other units are better than that. Alright, let's do... I'm kind of torn, so I'm just gonna get... Yeah, I don't want to make y'all mad. Okay, this is what I think of it. Next is Naruto. There, he's on the table. Let me have it. I think for all the gold and stuff that you do through these old raids and timing it, he's not as impressive as some of the other units that I'm gonna be bringing up. I thought he would be better, and I've seen his numbers. It's like 1700, like a 6-second cooldown or something, and it's not terrific. Where is raid units so I can show these numbers? I forget it. Alright. By the way, Renkoku ain't on the list because he's even worse. You not pick him up. Let's just move on. It's just a cone. It's decent attack speed, but I wouldn't go out of your way for this raid unit unless you really just want to do your board and you have the extra gold. But he's not a permanent member ever. Dang, dude, I really don't want to do this to y'all. Yeah, here comes the flame, dude. I'm so nervous. Dude, I can't do any memes. I'm itching. I'm itching. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. I'll do it. Anyway, I think the next unit I'll have here is, let's go with, yeah, let's do it. Whitebeard. Okay, before I get fucked, the reason why I have him here is because even though his damage is nice and he's a good Evo unit, I think he just gets outclassed. And, dude, there's just so much better stuff right now to be wasting your time on Whitebeard. Like, I think even Broly and Madara are better. Yeah. Like, if you have a guy on your team with one, he's not an idiot. It's just, I don't think you should. Yeah, it's a long cooldown, short range, but his damage is nice. I think he kind of sucks. When Andre told me that he got another person I play with, that he got a Whitebeard, I was just like, you're gonna upgrade Whitebeard, but there's so many better units out right now. You really shouldn't be wasting your star fruits on this. But it's good. It's decent damage. Not bad. Speaking of next unit. Let's just start getting them out of the way. I'm going to go with Katakuri. Now, I know this guy's utility of slow is pretty good. And you upgrade him, it'll get nice. But the DPS is stupid low. And sometimes I feel like going out of your way for this unit and then to get this slow, you'd so be better off just like accidentally getting him. And if you're gunning for mythics, you're spending the 16k. Yeah. He's a good support unit, but I don't think it's worth going for him. Like, at all. I think a lot of the legendaries pick up a lot of the supports stuff that he can do without you having to spend all your gems for it. Like, I know the mythics are getting lower than some of the more common stuff you'll see later, but I just don't think it's worth it. Like, if you get them, nice. If you don't, yeah, you're probably fine. The next unit I'm gonna put is Blackbeard. On the topic of support, I think if you're going for a mythic, uh, Blackbeard's a pretty good legendary to have in that slot. So I'd say the strategy in going for good units is make sure it's an insane S tier that I'm gonna put later, and then in the side slot is Blackbeard. If or not Blackbeard. Yeah, the side whatever legendary it is, make sure it's one of the higher ones here as well, and then it's a W banner, because while you're trying to get the absolute unit you need, something like this is good, and this will go without saying for the other legends I'm gonna put up there. But for now, I think Blackbeard's again like Katakuri good. The thing is Blackbeard's just a legendary, so if he happens to be the one you get, it's extra damage. He's great. He does some extra damage with this curse, but I do think there are other legendaries that are better, and sometimes squeezing them into a 6 slot like Sakura is a little awkward. So get him if you can. If you can't, it's not that big of a deal. I think we're almost done with the not big deals anymore. We'll do Pain next. Pain is just All Might but cheaper. Like he doesn't do as much damage, but it's like, again, if he's in the shop, you should probably snipe him. Like, either with your legendary pity if you want for these two, or just if he's the legendary and the one that you want is there you go. It's good CC knockback. It's not terrific. It's definitely a learning curve with most of these crowd control units, which makes them even more awkward for me not to put up. But he's a pretty decent unit, and he does not bad damage. I think he does around Gohan's damage, but a CC on top of it. I think we can move on to A. So I think the worst A unit right now, I'm gonna go with. Oh no. Before we move on to A, that's the new Tokyo Ghoul character. He's got double burn and 5,000 damage, but I don't think it's good enough. I think you're better off right now not going for this guy. He's pretty good, but I'll put him at the end of the pack, but I feel like it's a little disservice to put him with the rest of the A's. You could argue A, but I'm not going to put him any higher than basically top of the middle of the pack here. I wouldn't go for him, just like these guys. If you get him, you get him. If you don't, you don't. Not that big of a deal. We're moving on to the A, and I'm gonna say right off gate, just these two are in here. They're interchangeable. I'd say Madara's slightly better, but I'm gonna put Broly at the bottom of A. I think he had his I think both these units had their time in the light, and this new update has just kind of power crept them. Like, if they got like a small tweaker buff with their range and DPS, I'd put them in S. But for right now, they're they're interchangeable, is what I said. I think Broly's got really good range. I think it's like 8 seconds. I'll put it on the screen. Every 8 seconds, I think Broly just hits the whole map. Like, it's actually kind of big. Where Madara does a cone. So Madara right now, this is 10,000, and it's a cone for 30. And where's Broly? And then Broly does 6,000, but it's like 40. It's every 11 seconds. Is Madara so meta? He said did that guy say Madara's not better than Broly? Okay, he was saying Broly was the bad one. But I put Broly under him. I think they're same tier. Dude, Broly's really handy in raids and stuff. He has like a really good immediate damage. Like Madara, I don't know his initial costs. You put him down for 700, where if you put Broly down, Broly does 500 for every 7 seconds, and it goes from circle AoE. He can save raids. I wouldn't put a Madara down for a raid, because he starts at 149. So Broly can be good for saving early games, like a good immediate damage. And I'll actually get into another unit that does that as well. That's like really good for saving you in raids and just making it so that as soon as a boss fights or even a boss in the later stages comes out, that you can just plop this unit down and immediately hit for around the grand, where Madara's scaling is just kind of better. So for like the hard carry, it's Madara, but for the role of Broly, it's like Broly does great damage. He does do great damage, but it's kind of like a Mike Tyson, where it's like immediate burst into like mediocre hits, but it's the whole map. I think Madara's range is slightly worse too, if I'm not mistaken. Madara's goes to 30 range, and Broly goes to 48 range. So Broly's hitting the whole map. Next unit. I think this is where I start pulling out the legends. We're on the topic of raids. I'm going to go ahead and put Dio above these two. Dio's like a really good unit to just start out. Like, a lot of this game, if you don't know how to play, is like 600 won't let you put down like pretty much any of these units. Wave 1, so you're waiting for wave 2, and it only gets you around to 1200. So you can't immediately put anything down outside of 2 units that I'll get into, other than farm units. And Dio's like this good character in raids or anything that makes it so that you can still handle the early game immediately. Like, he starts out at like around 300. Like every 5 seconds, and that's just so handy for early game. And then by the time you do 4th upgrade, he's freeze timing everything, like without you having to press any buttons, which is effortless. And you can just put him on every corner and just freeze time the wave and just crowd control for free. And then since he's a legendary, I'm putting him over these two because you don't have to. If you have VIP, it's only like 2.75 to pull him. And if you're going for another unit and he's in the shop and you happen to get this guy, it's just a nice pull. Like, it'll make everything until like Tokyo Ghoul trivial, where I can't say the same about the rest of them. Like, you might be doing more close calls where he can kind of make things just easy. Like, if you get this unit, it's done. On the topic of units that make... Or, actually, before we get into that, I want to go over a mythic that does, like, an absurd amount of damage that I think is actually better than these two. And it's, like, Kainu and Madara. And, he's, like, I think he's, like, one of the better older school mythics. Because you can, like, run them 2 different ways. And the versatility is, like, really nice, especially on the Tokyo Ghoul map. Where he can do 5 grand, like, every 7 seconds to, like, most stuff in front of him with burn. And then if you need reach or immediate burst, it's a 14-second cooldown, so it's a lot. But you can get this guy up to 14k a hit. And then, like, since the map is kind of, like, large, placing this guy, like, in the center will make it so that you just hit the units from the first corner where they spawn all the way to, like, the 3rd skyscraper. And I think even though Madara's attack speed is probably better, if you have somebody like a Kainu, especially, like, evolved and everything, he just holds it down. And then the other bonus that he has over Madara... Yeah, the other bonus he has over Madara is he has the Broly thing, where if you put this unit down, he immediately does 700. So it's like if these two had a baby, and that baby burns. And you can run him either or. You can either run him Broly style for the 5,000 every 7 seconds, or you can run him the Madara style for 14k every 14 seconds. With stuff like Sakura, you can get it down to like 13 seconds and stuff, but It's a overall. I think Akainu just like kind of outclasses most of the old mythics. But at this point, I'm talking about like old meta stuff, and you guys probably want to know what I think about some of these newer characters. So the last like A tier, I'd say, and I used to think he was like a must S tier is Irwin. He's got a buff. He's got a buff by third upgrade, and it's super cheap. Like we're talking 700, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, and you're set with this character. And since the horses always like come from Fountain, they don't miss like the fast units, and especially since it's a big map, you'll get a bunch of them, and he'll carry you through the early game. But I think right now, since the Tokyo Ghoul monsters have like such absurd amount of health, this guy's scaling only goes up to maybe 5,000 a horse. So he's mainly just boosting late game. And since a lot of them have regen, by the time the next horse hits, that 5,000 that the horse just hit for is gone. Like it's just not there. Like I've debated just taking this guy off my squad, but just like Dio, if it's Dio, Irwin, or whatever, look at the legendary, and this unit and be like, I gotta take it because Irwin will get you through this game, and so will Dio. They will get you through to the late game, especially if you gun for that mythic, and these are the legends in there. But before you do any prep, let's get to the S tiers. Now, I don't know too much about some of these units. I know Shank's cooldowns and stuff. I've seen what she can do, especially for like longer infinites. But in a regular game, it seems a little weak compared to the rest of the S tiers. But I'll pull her up really quick before I actually put her in a spot. Yeah, she starts out at 104. Wait, hold on. The evolution. Let's be fair. She starts at 580. 580 ain't bad. What's the other one start at? I'm making sure. So 376. I heard his placement is actually a little rough. He scales up nuts. 11,000. Yeah. Ito's starting out not bad. This is definitely tough. Yeah. I guess for the bottom of S tier, I'll put Ito because she does kind of seem like an infinite unit more than a story one. I will say her starting out at 500 ain't bad, but the whole you have to get a kill stacking things in smaller game modes is rough. But she's a must, I'd say. All these units in S, you need to get them. Except for one. There's one I will say that you shouldn't gun for, but he's in here. So essentially, she's here at the bottom of S, and then I want to talk. You know what? I'll save it for last. The unit above her that I'll put is I want to say Shanks. He's really good. Yeah, we're gonna do Shanks. I think Shanks is next. I think Shanks is really good. I think he was the actual character you wanted from the last stack of mythics. Evolved and everything. Having a stun every 4 seconds for the damage. His range is a little poor. But I think he's pretty good, but he's definitely not top of the barrel. And I'll go into why. I personally don't run him. I don't run him. I kind of wish I grabbed him before, but when I see somebody with the Shanks, I'm like, this is about to be easy mode. But I think he does more in like something like story, and then he's just an immediate unit to like kind of hold down the front with DPS. I do think you should probably pick up Ito if you're going for like leaderboards or longer infinites, but it really depends on like your goals because Shanks is more consistent, if you ask me. I don't think she's as consistent, but she's definitely like leaderboard, she should be at the top, but as like a standard unit, she's kind of the meh of the best. Speaking of which, next I gotta go with. I've run the unit myself. I'll just say it, Juzo. Now, Juzo would be higher. Juzo would be higher. He's got bleed, so he can stop all these like anti-heal. And just to clarify, while we're in S tier, all these units can kind of just carry games on their own. Like you can put some of these units down until like Marine Ford, and they'll carry it by themselves. Uh, but Juzo's got, yeah. If you want to get through Snowy for free, if you want to get through Tokyo Ghoul Infinites for free, he's your guy. Um, However, I will admit, you gotta wait till like wave 3 to put him down because his initial cost is rough. The attack speed gets you by. He's nuts. He is nuts. But I can't just because he fits my playstyle, I can't put him higher than what I think is actually some of the stronger units in this game. Which I'm about to go into. So the strongest unit, I'm gonna put air quotes around it. The strongest unit that is a must-have, I'd say, is this guy. Getting up to 11k and having that kind of reach that I've seen, the anti-heal bleed just doesn't matter. Reaper. Like, if you're gonna go for a unit in this game, I think going for this guy is what you want to do. It's a 5-second cooldown with a range of 43. Like, I was talking up Akaino's range and Broly's range. This guy has all their range, except instead of doing, like it's like if Broly. So we just said these two had a baby, had him. Well, now he's having a baby with him and making this. Like, it's absurd, and you don't have to do utility. The cost is a little weird at first, but once you get him off the ground, the game's over. Like, he's a must. You need one of him. He has made it so that I've debated on even getting Ito or not because of the damage that this dude can do. Now, I do want to do kind of like an honorable mention, but at the same time, like a super good unit. So, okay, this is where the, I want to say where the trolling starts. This is Lulu. Now, I don't know what really Lulu does, but I've heard he's insane. But I'm putting him at the bottom because, I mean, if you get him, he's a must on your team, but he's a secret unit. I don't even know what the drop rate on this secret unit thing is, but you can't gun for him. Like, if you get an absurd amount of gems, you can crank at it all day, sure. But getting this guy on the team is, like, an anomaly. Like, it's just not going to happen. I'll put him in S tier to be like, yeah, he's super good, even though the numbers don't really say it. Unless maybe the evolve one does. Maybe he has an evolution. Yeah, evolution. He has mind control, whatever that is. But he does do 2,000 every 5 seconds, which is decent. But I'm going to guess the mind control is nuts. There's a... Andrew over there is saying stuff like, he summons soldiers that shoot and a mech that shoots lasers with infinite range. I didn't even actually look at the range. It only says 21, but if it's what he's saying, he really should be at the top. But I'm not placing him. I'll just say bottom S. Border, I wanted to put him even lower. I honestly wanted to say throw it away. Because you're never getting this unit. Like, it's just not happening. If you got it, put it on your team. But trying to pull off this character is just not happening. Next, almost at the top of S tier is Bulma. I've done tier lists like this before. Alright? Number 2 is Bulma. I think Bulma is the second highest farm unit. In a game like this, you need money. Like, you need to crank out money. Except for, like, high cost challenges, which you can avoid. You need these money units so that you can get any of these units off the ground. Like, it's just a necessity. So since this unit is a necessity, it's better than all of the DPS that you can ask for. If you see this as your legendary and you're trying to get one of these mythics that I've mentioned, you have to go for it. Like, you just, like, you need to put it on your team. It's what I would say. Because the best unit, I think, in the game is Speedwagon. He's an epic. You see this dude in your shop. You see this dude in your shop. He is the farm unit. No matter what game mode, he cranks out the money. By wave 8, you're set. Besides maybe Aaron. Where's Aaron? Or double farm strats. This Aaron that costs like $1 million. Besides that guy, placing down this, getting his farming done. Yeah. No, I've gotten him to work in every with the units that they have now. I've gotten him to work in Infinite. I do double farm strats. Don't get me wrong. I do Boma and him with Juzo. But you can just work with him and it'll give you enough money per round. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily give you a full upgrade, but Boma's costs are very expensive. Like Boma's final cost is like 12.5k. Yeah. I mean, you can bow me in raids and troll or whatever, but these two units are the best. You need farm units. The reason why he's higher for me is because for Boma you need at least legendary pity if you're unlucky. He is an epic. You could probably use summon tickets or just spin a couple times and you will get this unit. And you're set on farming for the rest of the game. Like, Andrew and everybody, all of them can say what they want about maybe Boma being better. Boma's a legendary. He's an epic. He costs like less. It's like 550 instead of 800. And you can stack him. The strat that I use with him, if you guys don't run him yourself, is you place him down, he gives you 200 right away. Alright? If you ever hit 1,000, instead of placing another one down for 550, you can hit it for 1,000 and immediately get the next spec that placed 2 down or keep specking it. And not only can you do that stacking, when you're on the final wave of story missions especially, or raids, you can sell him for an extra 220. 3 220s is 6,600, which can turn into an upgrade or even like 4 units if you have to do it. Yeah, Speedwagon is insanely cheap. He's super cheap. He's easy to get, and he's good in story, which is primarily what you're gonna playing. And it's not like he's dead. He's a dead unit in Infinite. It's just like they're saying, Boma's stuff scales better. But I don't think you're missing out for Boma. But if you see her and you can't get your hands on the Speedwagon, get her. You need at least 1 farm unit. But if you're gonna get one, just get Speedwagon and call it a day. You don't need both. You don't even really need Boma. I honestly think everybody just needs Speedwagon for now. Until they add another farm unit, or if scaling with money gets like disgusting. But for right now, it's not so bad. I've been able with Speedwagon to get Juzos all the way upgraded to their blade forms. Now I will admit, if you did bow me in like Infinite, it could get it there more efficiently, but the damage is enough to get you by. It's always enough to get you by, and not even an uncomfortable get you by, a very snug get you by. So I'm gonna get back on the game, guys. This is what I think of the current meta game. I did leave some units out, and people have different opinions, but you know, if you this is on tiermaker.com. I've made the template. If you want to make your own tier list and submit it in my Discord or even like DM me or whatever, there's a thing for that, and I'd love to hear you guys' takes on the meta, because I don't know all the numbers of every single character. When I can see from playing the game from 0 to 62, this is what looks like to be the general like rule of thumb with a lot of these characters. And that was that. Alright, let's get back to the games, everybody. Oh, man. I can't believe there wasn't already a pre... Oh yeah, we can get back into the music too. What the fuck? Copy and paste anime adventure. I'll just type it. This won't go in the video, but thanks everybody in chat for like kind of saying, even if I didn't agree with what you were saying,